room. Looks like it's called. Give a hand to our friends from Cypher. We've been playing with those guys for probably close to 25 years now. They're good friends of ours. Get better every time we see them. I want to say a few words about why we're here tonight. So, I don't actually recall the exact details of how I met Rich, but Rich and I used to communicate over the phone. There was a text message at the time, and I would pick him up at the train station that was close to my work, and we used to actually drive out to the shows on Long Island. Before we had our record out, our EP, we went out with a band we were all big fans of called Motive from Long Island. And we took Rich with us. And we went to a show in Worcester, Massachusetts, or Springfield, Massachusetts, I can't remember exactly. But something happened during the show, during our set, a couple of bands started fighting. And we got outside, and somebody had actually slashed the tire to our van. And Rich grabbed the tire iron and ran through that venue looking to find out who did it and to beat the living hell out of him. And I'll never forget, for somebody that we barely knew at the time, to really, be there for us and stick up for us for just some 17, 18-year-old kids from Long Island really meant a lot to us. And as the years went on and Rich kind of propelled to be the promoter that he became, he never forgot about us, and he kept putting us on those shows that we probably didn't deserve to be on. And I'll say that if it weren't for Rich, I don't know if we'd all be standing here right now. So, what I will say is, to Karen and Killian, I know that every single person in this room would fight for you both, just like Rich fought for us.
Yes!
So thank you.
Yeah!
Yeah.
So, on our very first tour, we were supposed to go out with a band called Ground Zero, and from Connecticut, who are an absolutely incredible band. But our bass player, Matt, was maybe 15 at the time, and had to go to summer school. So we had to actually cancel the tour. And we gave a call to the promoter down in North Carolina. He said, hey, we can't play the show. Is there any way you have anything going on about a week later? And he said, you know, I actually do. I have a show with a band called Harvest.
Yeah.
So we immediately jumped back. So we go and we play the show. And the guys from Harvest said to us, we were like, wow, you guys are a good band. And we lost it. Like, to hear that from a band like Harvest say that we were a good band, like, just cemented why we should be doing this. So, in 2011, I believe it was, Rich gives us a call, and he says, hey, Harvest is coming back through New York. Do you guys want to do a reunion show and play? So we immediately said, absolutely. And 2 weeks before that show, I actually popped out my kneecap, and I had to play that show in a brace. So, this past Thursday, I took a step in my kitchen and felt my kneecap kind of do this little wobble. And I said, holy shit, we're playing another show with Harvest for Rich Hall. So, I don't know what that means, but I just feel like there's some kind of divine intervention happening here, and somehow it's being channeled through my knee. So, I just want to thank every one of you for being here.
Yeah.
To our old friends, to our new friends, to the bands that are coming after us, Harvest, Orange 9mm, Kiss Goodbye, from All the Ashes, all of them incredible bands. I know you're all here, you're going to stick around to see them. This one's our last one. It's a song called Visible. Thank